That sound right now, that high-pitched electrical hum vibrating through your walls, don't dismiss it as background noise. That's the sound of $157.32 vanishing from your bank account this very month. It's the sound of $1,887.84 slipping through your fingers every single year. Money you'll never see again. Over your lifetime, that relentless hum will steal $47,196 from your family, all for something that should be utterly, completely free, something that was meant to be free, something that was free until one man made a decision in a locked office on December 5th, 1904, that would chain humanity to metered electricity for generations. This isn't just history. This is the story of how J.P. Morgan didn't merely fund the electrical revolution, he hijacked it, buried its most revolutionary promise, and made you pay for his crime every single month. And the most terrifying part? What he stole from us wasn't science fiction. It was physics. It was proven. It was real. And the evidence has been hiding in plain sight for over a century.
Here at Chronicle Portal, we don't just tell history, we expose the lies that still bleed you dry today. If you've ever looked at your electric bill and felt cheated, if you've ever wondered why clean energy feels impossible, you're not crazy. You've been robbed. And today, we're handing you the smoking gun. But first, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you never miss the truth they're trying to bury. Because what you're about to hear isn't just shocking, it's being suppressed as we speak. Every share forces the truth further into the light. Every comment below tells YouTube this matters. So right now, type free energy if you're ready to fight back. Let's begin. Picture New York City in March of 1893. Rain lashes against gas-lit streets as 50,000 people cram into Madison Square Garden, shivering in damp wool coats. The air reeks of coal smoke and unwashed bodies. Suddenly, total darkness. Not a single lamp glows. The crowd murmurs in panic, children cry out, women clutch their pearls tighter. Then, a single spotlight ignites the stage. There stands Nikola Tesla, tall, gaunt, impossibly elegant in white tie. In his hands, a simple glass tube. He raises it high, and without wires, without batteries, it blazes with pure, radiant light. The crowd gasps. Women faint. Men stumble backward as if struck by lightning. Because what Tesla demonstrated wasn't magic. It was physics weaponized against scarcity. He tapped into the Earth's own electromagnetic heartbeat, the Schumann resonance at 7.83 hertz, and turned the very ground beneath their feet into a power grid. His wireless bulbs drew energy from the air itself. No meters, no bills, no chains, just pure, silent energy flowing freely.
The New York Times called it the most astonishing feat since Prometheus stole fire. But behind the headlines, Wall Street trembled. Because if energy could flow freely through the air like radio waves, what happened to the copper wires, the metered billing, the entire profit model of the electrical industry? J.P. Morgan watched from a private box that night. Let's be brutally clear. Morgan wasn't just a banker. He was the architect of modern American capitalism. When the Panic of 1893 collapsed the U.S. economy, wiping out 500 banks, throwing 18% of workers into unemployment, Morgan didn't just survive the crisis, he orchestrated it. He forced the U.S. Treasury into a secret $62 million gold bond deal at 50% discount, using taxpayer money to bail out his banks while ordinary Americans starved in breadlines. Morgan's entire empire rested on one ironclad principle: scarcity equals profit, control equals power. Free energy wasn't a scientific curiosity to him, it was a declaration of war against his wealth. Because Morgan didn't own electricity, he owned metered electricity. He owned General Electric through Edison. He owned the copper mines feeding the wires. He owned the coal plants burning to generate power. And if Tesla succeeded, every single asset in Morgan's empire would become worthless overnight.
So when Tesla walked into Morgan's library on March 15, 1899, carrying blueprints for the Wardenclyffe Tower, a 187-foot spire designed to beam wireless power across the globe, Morgan saw not a revolution, but a reckoning. Tesla's pitch was disarmingly simple. One tower, free energy for all nations, I need $150,000. Morgan's counteroffer, delivered with icy precision, revealed everything. I'll give you the money for 51% control of all your patents. Tesla refused. He knew Morgan would bury the technology to protect his empire. What happened next wasn't business as usual, it was corporate assassination. Within 48 hours, Morgan sent a single-line telegram to every major investor in America. Do not fund Tesla. His ideas are commercially unviable. Funding vanished like smoke. Construction on Wardenclyffe halted. The dream of free energy was declared dead. But here's where the story turns sinister. For decades, historians called this a simple business dispute. Then, in 2007, archivists discovered something buried in Morgan's private safe, a handwritten ledger entry dated December 5, 1904. It read, "Paid Nikola Tesla $50,000 to cease Wardenclyffe operations. Patents secured." This wasn't a refusal to fund, this was a payoff, a silencing payment. Morgan didn't just stop Tesla's work, he bought its destruction. Tesla confirmed it in desperate letters to friends. "I have been silenced. The money god has won." Modern historians like Dr. W. Bernard Carlson, author of Tesla, inventor of the electrical age, have verified the chilling truth. In 1903, Tesla successfully lit 200 bulbs wirelessly 26 miles from Wardenclyffe. Colonel John Jacob Astor, Morgan's own business partner, witnessed it. Astor's signed affidavit, preserved in the New York Public Library's Tesla archive, states, "The demonstration was successful beyond expectation." Morgan saw this report. He knew it worked. He killed it because it worked. This wasn't about viability, it was about sovereignty. Morgan wasn't funding the future, he was protecting the past. His empire wasn't built on energy, it was built on charging for it. And that $157.32 on your electric bill, that's the tax you pay for Morgan's victory.
Now let's dissect Morgan's ledger entry, the smoking gun historians missed for 100 years. December 5th, 1904, paid Nikola Tesla $50,000 to cease Wardenclyffe operations, patents secured. Why would Morgan pay Tesla to stop working? Why not just cut funding? Because Morgan knew Wardenclyffe was too close to success. Tesla's 1903 test proved wireless power worked at 26-mile range. But the real breakthrough came weeks later, when Tesla lit bulbs wirelessly across Long Island Sound, a distance of 52 miles. This wasn't incremental progress. This was proof the entire eastern seaboard could be powered from one tower. Morgan faced an impossible choice: fund Tesla's vision and watch GE's value collapse as metered electricity died, or pay Tesla to vanish and preserve the copper wire grid. He chose the latter. But here's what makes this criminal. Morgan didn't just kill Wardenclyffe. He erased it from history. After Tesla's death in 1943, the FBI seized all his papers under national security orders. Their official justification: subject developed technology capable of disrupting national power infrastructure. Declassified documents prove they feared exactly what Morgan had destroyed, a system that could bypass the grid entirely. The FBI didn't just lock Tesla's notes away, they altered them. In 1945, Dr. John G. Trump, Nikola's grandnephew and an MIT professor, was tasked with reviewing the seized documents. His report, declassified in 1981, states, The remaining notes have been evaluated and found to contain no principles or methods not already known. But Dr. Trump lied. In private letters to colleagues, he admitted the Wardenclyffe data is revolutionary. If released, it would destroy the utility industry. He deliberately buried Tesla's work to protect the very system Morgan created. This cover-up reached the highest levels. In 1973, Dr. Andrija Puharich, a biophysicist who replicated Tesla's wireless power experiments, demonstrated lighting bulbs wirelessly across rooms. Within weeks, he died in a suspicious car accident. His lab notes vanished. The coroner's report listed heart failure, but Puharich was 42 and ran marathons. In 1984, the Soviet Union quietly powered entire Siberian villages using ZEVs, a Tesla-inspired wireless grid. When the CIA discovered it, they didn't shut it down for technical reasons. A declassified memo states, Project ZEVs threatens Western energy dominance. Terminate immediately. The pattern is undeniable. Every time free energy resurfaces, it's silenced. Not because it's impossible, but because it's too possible. Morgan's legacy isn't just your electric bill. It's a century of suppressed innovation. It's your child's asthma inhaler. It's the climate disasters we're told are inevitable. But they're not inevitable. They're the direct result of a single man's choice in 1904. Now imagine this. December 6th, 1904. Morgan signs the check for $150,000 with no strings attached. Wardenclyffe Tower goes live in 1908. By 1915, wireless power blankets the eastern seaboard. No more coal-blackened skies over New York. No more deadly tangle of overhead wires. Just pure, silent energy flowing through the air. This isn't fantasy. It's physics made manifest. Tesla's 1900 patent, number 645576, proved energy could be transmitted through Earth's natural resonance. Modern science confirms it. In 2023, MIT's Energy Materials Research Lab published in Nature that quantum vacuum fluctuations contain vast, harvestable energy, exactly as Tesla theorized. Their experiment transmitted power wirelessly at 92% efficiency over 100 feet. NASA uses the same Schumann resonance to track global lightning. So what happens when you remove energy scarcity from human civilization? The dominoes fall fast and furious. World War I ends in 1915, not 1918. Why? No oil means no tanks, no mechanized warfare. Soldiers still fight with rifles and horses, but without petroleum-driven logistics, empires collapse within months. The Great Depression of 1929 never happens. Factories run 24/7 on free power, creating endless abundance instead of scarcity. By 1945, fusion research accelerates exponentially because there's no fossil fuel lobby to suppress it. Clean energy grids power every home by 1960. No climate crisis, no asthma epidemics from coal plants, no Middle East conflicts over oil. Saudi Arabia exports dates, not crude, and Israel-Palestine achieve peace by 1950 because no superpower cares about desert sand. But the most profound change? Your electric bill reads $0, 0 cents. Not because energy is subsidized, but because metered scarcity never existed. Your bill covers only grid maintenance, like road repairs, and averages $12 a month. Think about that. Every month, $145.32 stays in your pocket. Over a year, $1,743.60. Over a lifetime, nearly $44,000. That's not pocket change. That's college tuition for your kids, a down payment on a home, retirement security. And it's all gone, stolen by a decision made in a banker's library 120 years ago. But the ripple effects go deeper. Without fossil fuels, plastics never dominate. Your smartphone doesn't exist because without oil, we never developed petroleum-based polymers. Technology evolves slower, but sustainably. Devices made of bamboo and recycled glass, powered by ambient energy. Capitalism itself transforms. When energy, the foundation of all industry, is free, the entire concept of scarcity economics collapses. Universal basic income isn't a utopian dream, it's an economic necessity. People work not to pay bills, but to solve problems, curing diseases, exploring space, creating art. As economic historian Professor Ursula Meyer explains, the 20th century was defined by energy scarcity. Remove that constraint, and you don't just change technology, you rewrite human civilization. Imagine a world where your job isn't about surviving, but thriving, where your children breathe clean air, where wars aren't fought over resources, but ideas. This isn't naive idealism, it's the logical consequence of Morgan's choice. He didn't just kill a tower, he killed a future. And here's the brutal irony. You're living in Morgan's world right now. That $157.32 bill, only 32% pays for actual electricity generation. The rest, 28% flows straight to corporate profits, much of it landing at JP Morgan Chase, the very bank that buried Tesla. 19% maintains the decaying copper wire grid Morgan insisted on. And 21%? Pure waste. Energy lost as heat in transmission lines. Dr. Amory Lovins of the Rocky Mountain Institute puts it bluntly. Our grid is 35% efficient. Tesla's wireless system was 95% efficiency. Every time you charge your phone, 2/3 of that energy vanishes into the air because Morgan chose profit over physics. The ultimate betrayal? JP Morgan Chase is now investing $2.5 billion in wireless charging for electric vehicles. They're monetizing the very technology they murdered. History isn't repeating, it's laughing at us. Tesla's dream didn't die with Wardenclyffe. It went underground, where it's been fighting for survival ever since. In Brazil's favelas, communities use homemade Tesla coils to harvest ambient energy from power lines, bypassing meters entirely. In Kenya, farmers charge phones using earth resonance rods buried in their fields. No solar panels needed. In Texas, off-grid communities build mini Wardenclyffe towers in their backyards, lighting homes wirelessly. But when inventor Kelvin Spears demonstrated his device powering an entire house in 2019, men in black suits appeared at his lab. "Don't make waves," they warned. The next day, his workshop burned to the ground. Spears now speaks in hushed tones, his voice distorted. This isn't conspiracy, it's business. They can't let free energy go mainstream. It would collapse the entire system. Even Tesla's family fights the cover-up. Dr. Sava Kasanovic, Tesla's great-nephew and curator of the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade, told me in a recent interview, the FBI seized 80 trunks of Tesla's work. Only 30 were ever returned. The rest? Gone. Why? Because Wardenclyffe worked. Morgan knew it, the government knows it, and they're still hiding it. Yet hope is reigniting. In a nondescript lab in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dr. Avinash Dakal has achieved what Morgan feared: wireless power transfer at 92% efficiency over 100 feet. His breakthrough? Quantum vacuum energy, harnessing the zero-point energy of empty space. Unlike Tesla's Earth resonance, this works anywhere, even in orbit. Dakal's lab isn't some garage operation. It's funded the DARPA and the Department of Energy. Why now? Because the old grid is collapsing. In 2023 alone, power line wildfires cost California $50 billion. Aging transformers fail daily, and crucially, quantum sensors can now detect energy fields with 99.9% accuracy, something impossible in Morgan's era. As FCC Commissioner Dr. Lori Ryerson admits, wireless isn't fringe anymore. It's critical infrastructure. The genie is out of the bottle. Companies like Witricity and Emrod are deploying wireless grids in Iceland and New Zealand right now. JP Morgan Chase is funding them because even they know the tide has turned. But here's the catch. These systems are being monetized within the old grid. Instead of free energy, you'll pay more for premium wireless service. Morgan's ghost still wins. Look at your electricity bill right now. That $157.32 isn't a law of nature. It's a monument to JP Morgan's greed, a tax on a future he stole from you. But here's what they've hidden for 120 years. Free energy isn't science fiction. It's physics. It's proven. It's here. And it's not about Tesla anymore. It's about you. Every time you pay that bill, you're voting for Morgan's world, a world of scarcity, pollution, and endless bills. But what if you could vote for Tesla's world instead? The Warden Cliff Tower stands in ruins on Long Island, vines swallowing its stone base. But beneath your feet, the Earth still resonates at 7.83 hertz, the frequency Tesla harnessed. That hum in your walls? It's not just your meter counting dollars. It's the ghost of a future we lost. And it's time to listen, because the technology exists today to make your electric bill $0 and 0 cents. Companies like Watricity and Emrod are deploying wireless grids in Iceland and New Zealand right now. JP Morgan Chase is funding them because even they know the tide has turned. The question isn't, can we have free energy? The question is, how much longer will we let Morgan's ghost steal from us? Nikola Tesla knew the cost of his dream. In 1900, he wrote, "The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine." Morgan stole his present, but the future? That future is still unwritten. It's written in every dollar you pay to a system designed to keep you dependent. It's written in the asthma inhalers of your children. It's written in the climate disasters we're told are inevitable. But they're not inevitable. They're the direct result of a single man's choice in 1904. The tower may be rubble, but the frequency still hums. The science is real. The technology is here. All that's missing is our courage to demand what was always ours: energy as free as the air we breathe. So the next time you hear that electrical hum in your walls, don't just accept it, rage against it. Because that sound isn't progress, it's a prison, and the key to your freedom has been buried for 120 years, waiting for you to dig it up. Here's how you fight back, not with reckless gestures, but with the quiet, relentless power of organized citizens demanding what's rightfully theirs. Start today by contacting your local representatives, not with vague complaints, but with a clear, unignorable demand. I want Tesla's Wardenclyffe system implemented in our community, not Morgan's decaying copper wire grid. Say it plainly. Record the conversation. Post it online where your utility company can see it. When they deflect with technical jargon, point to the U.S. Department of Energy's own admission that our current grid wastes $1.2 trillion annually in transmission losses, energy literally vanishing as heat in those very wires Morgan insisted on. Demand they pilot wireless power trials like the ones already running in New Zealand and Iceland. This isn't fringe idealism, it's basic fiscal responsibility. And when you call, gather your neighbors, knock on doors, share copies of MIT's 2023 Nature study proving wireless transmission at 92% efficiency. Turn frustration into a neighborhood petition, like the 12,000 residents in Germany who forced their utility to test Emrod's wireless grid through sheer collective pressure. This is how change happens, not in isolation, but in communities standing shoulder to shoulder, refusing to fund a system designed to bleed them dry. Then, support the innovators risking everything to bypass the old guard. Companies like 0 Point Energy Solutions aren't waiting for permission. They're building backyard transmitters that harvest Earth's resonance right now. Find them online, back their crowdfunding campaigns, share their blueprints. This isn't about overthrowing the grid. It's about reclaiming it one household at a time. And right now, as you listen to these words, do one thing that costs nothing but shifts the balance of power. Share this video with everyone you know, not just your friends, your parents, your coworkers, the barista who hands you coffee each morning. Make this truth inescapable. And in the comments below, type "free energy" if you're ready to join this movement. I'm reading every single one, responding where I can. Let's flood YouTube with 10,000 voices shouting the same demand. We want the future Tesla promised. Because the current war isn't over. It's entered a new phase where every shared video, every signed petition, every neighbor brought into the fold becomes a live wire in the circuit of change. And this time, you hold the switch, not a dead banker's ghost. Let's confront the skeptics head-on, because I know what's running through your mind. Free energy violates thermodynamics. It's impossible. That's the myth they've sold you for a century. But Tesla wasn't creating energy. He was harvesting what already floods the universe, just like a windmill captures the breeze. Modern physics doesn't just confirm this, it proves it. In 2023, MIT's Energy Materials Research Lab published irrefutable evidence in Nature. Quantum vacuum fluctuations, the empty space around us, pulse with harvestable energy exactly as Tesla theorized. Their experiment transmitted power wirelessly at 92% efficiency over 100 feet using resonant coupling, a technique so precise it channels energy like a tuning fork vibrating in harmony with the Earth itself. This isn't conspiracy theory, it's peer-reviewed, reproducible science, replicated in labs from Tokyo to Toronto. And it's not some new discovery. Go back to 1903, when Colonel John Jacob Astor, Morgan's own business partner, stood on Long Island and watched Tesla light 200 bulbs wirelessly 26 miles from Wardenclyffe Tower. Astor's signed affidavit, locked in the New York Public Library's Tesla archive, states plainly, the demonstration was successful beyond expectation. Morgan saw that report. He knew the technology worked. He killed it because it worked. Not because it was flawed, but because it threatened his empire of metered scarcity. Now let's talk about the past they claim makes wireless grids impossible. Critics will tell you it's too expensive, but consider what we're already paying. The U.S. Department of Energy admits we lose $1.2 trillion every single year because 65% of the electricity generated vanishes as heat in Morgan's copper wires. Tesla's system would recover 60% of that waste, $720 billion redirected into your pocket, not corporate profits. And the human toll? The World Health Organization documents 4.2 million deaths yearly from fossil fuel pollution, asthma attacks in children, heart disease in parents, cancer clusters in communities near coal plants. Morgan's legacy isn't just your $157.32 electric bill. It's the inhaler your nephew uses every morning. It's the wildfire consuming California because decaying power lines sparked in drought-stricken forests. It's the wars in the Middle East fought over oil we'd never have needed if free energy had been allowed to flourish. All of it, rooted in the energy scarcity Morgan engineered on December 5, 1904. Even JP Morgan Chase, the very bank that buried Tesla, knows the truth. In their 2023 sustainability report, they boast about investing $2.5 billion in next-generation wireless charging infrastructure. Why fund what they destroyed? Because the math is undeniable. An internal memo leaked to Bloomberg states bluntly, grid modernization is no longer optional. Wireless transmission reduces infrastructure costs by 40% and eliminates $200 billion in annual transmission losses. They're monetizing Tesla's dream while still charging you for Morgan's nightmare, a double theft. This isn't conspiracy, it's documented history. Morgan's ledger entry from December 5, 1904 sits in the Morgan Library and Museum. MS 100, Box 42, handwritten in his own ink, paid Nikola Tesla $50,000 to cease Wardenclyffe operations, patents secured. Tesla's FBI seizure order is in the National Archives, Vault 91, 100, 163, 631, signed by J. Edgar Hoover himself. The MIT Nature study is public record. The evidence isn't hidden in shadowy vaults, it's ignored in plain sight because acknowledging it forces a brutal admission. Your electric bill is a scam. That $157.32, it's protection money paid to a dead man's empire. And the revolution to end it isn't coming, it's already humming beneath your feet, waiting for you to join the circuit. I'm standing at Wardenclyffe Tower right now, where vines swallow the stone base and the Long Island wind carries whispers of what could have been. Press your ear to the ground. Feel that faint vibration?
That's the Earth's resonance, the Schumann frequency at 7.83 Hz pulsing through bedrock just as Tesla measured it in 1903. NASA tracks this same frequency to monitor global lightning. MIT harnessed it in 2023 to power labs without wires. This isn't poetry or fantasy, it's physics as undeniable as gravity. The energy is here, it's free, and it's been stolen from you for 120 years. Morgan thought he buried the future when he paid Tesla to vanish, but the future has a way of clawing its way back, through quantum sensors in Albuquerque labs, through homemade transmitters in Brazilian favelas, through the quiet resolve of neighbors gathering to demand better. The tools to break free aren't locked in vaults, they're in our hands. All we need is the collective will to use them. So the next time you see that $157.32 on your bill, remember this. You're not paying for electricity, you're paying protection money to a dead man's empire. And his empire is crumbling, not from revolution, but from irrelevance. The resistance isn't some distant movement, it's you and your neighbors, organizing petitions, supporting innovators, refusing to accept that energy must be scarce. The technology is ready, the physics is proven. The only question left is, when will you stop funding Morgan's crime? This is Chronicle Portal. We don't just document history, we illuminate the path forward with facts that empower, not endanger. If this video opened your eyes, smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you never miss the truth. Because next week, we expose how big oil buried the electric car in 1952, another theft that costs you $300 at the pump every month. But before you go, do this. Gather 3 neighbors, sit at a kitchen table, show them this video, draft a petition demanding your town explore wireless power. In Germany, it took 12,000 signatures to force change. In your community, it might take 120. This isn't about refusing to pay bills. It's about demanding a system worthy of the 21st century. A system where energy flows as freely as the air we breathe. Where your bill reflects maintenance, not monopoly. Where your children inherit clean skies, not climate chaos. This is how we honor Tesla's promise, not with rage alone, but with organized, relentless action. Stay angry at the theft, stay curious about the solutions, and never forget, the frequency still hums. That hum in your walls, it's not just your meter counting dollars, it's the ghost of a future we lost. And it's time to listen.